Alright, welcome back everybody. I'm Jade Monkey. We're back here in Rust. We are anxiously awaiting the PlayStation 4 and Xbox beta and also the release for Rust later on this year, 2020. But we're currently on the PC. Obviously, I wish we were on the console. Playing the beta right now. We will be maining this on console when this comes out, so be on the lookout for that. And when the beta hits, rest assured, Razor2, BioLazer, and myself, Jade Monkey, will all be doing this heavily. So it's going to be so much fun. But I wanted to show you guys what a raid looks like. Like a base layout and what typically you'll have to do after a raid, like when somebody raids you. And you know, things aren't always perfect when you get started here, as your building kind of evolves with your necessity. And again, this is all vanilla Rust. None of these things are modifications. These are all the things we'll get on our current version. Or on the version we'll have for the Xbox and the PlayStation 4 beta and the full release. So let me just go outside and give you guys a little rundown of what the base looks like, and I'll show you how they broke in. I tried to leave things as pristine as possible as far as what they did. I did cap one of the holes, but let's just go outside and do a little run around and kind of show you what they did and maybe what their thought process was. So so you've heard me say this in other games before, Conan, Ark, especially Rust. A lot of times you have people freak out after you get raided. They're like, oh my goodness, we gotta move. You know, it doesn't always make sense to move. As a matter of fact, most cases, it does not make sense to move. You have so much time and resources invested in your base, you should probably just repair it and then even make a few additions to throw off the would-be raiders, especially if they weren't able to get in the first time. So you can see a bunch of different materials here. We've got stone. The next tier up would be metal. And a lot of times when you throw metal on a base, it says two things. It says, I have money and I'm probably worth raiding. And it also says, usually, my TC is around here. TC being tool cupboard, the object that claims somebody's structure. Because in Rust, it's unique in the sense that you can steal other people's bases. Or even decayed bases. Like, look at our neighbors way off yonder. That base is being decayed right now. And if we were to throw down a tool cupboard and then lock it, and we're able to keep the upkeep, we could actually make that into our own base. As Rust, it's very permanent when you build, so things have to be very deliberate. But anyways, let's go inside. So the actual point they punched in was right here. This little small half wall. It'll make more sense on the inside. The reason why they cut there and not the other side, or okay, let me go ahead and review the first raid they did. So this base it was kind of freestyle, not kind of, it was freestyle. It was all of us playing together. This is a cumulative thing. It was me, Razortube, it was Odin. We had Dominion. Who else do we have? I feel like I'm missing somebody. We've got George here. Anyway, so we had this little pocket on the side of the base that we added. And our TC's on the inside. I'll go ahead and show that later. But we had this isolated from the main base. There was actually a small wall here. See how we can like look through? Here, this was actually had a small wall. And this was made for just respawning, and we would close things we'd have this door here, and that's it. That's all this extra pocket was. It was honeycomb. It was a layer to hide the fact that it was metal on our TC, because this is the TC wall, or the TC room wall, if that makes sense. And it was to hide the fact that our main tool cupboard was insulated. And we basically would spawn here. We could grab a few things. Some weapons, and then run outside if we were getting attacked or raided and somebody was door camping us. The beautiful thing is these were stone here on the side. So it looked like there was metal here all on this side. Everything that's metal on this side existed for the first raid. So they thought the tool cupboard was there. So they saw this would be, I guess it would be a weak door. They punched in here, obviously, blew open another door, spending a fair amount of satchel charges, and then they got in here and saw like two drop boxes, like pass-throughs, but there was a wall here. So they spent a ton of time breaking through, and then there was a floor here, and then there was another doorway right here, and then that's all they got into. And so they were like, wow, we didn't get that far into the base. So the base worked as designed. We led them by the nose through the base, you know, a couple honeycomb doors, some fakes, and they ran out of steam because it costs a lot of resources to raid in Rust. Anyways, going on to the raid that happened most recently. I want to say yesterday. And, yeah, okay, so honeycomb, a lot of times the softest way, or the path of least resistance is the doors. But if you have a lot of honeycomb, this being honeycomb, one door, two doors, another door, if you can lead them through doorways and honeycombs, sometimes you can make the cost to go through doors more expensive, if that makes any sense. So let me go ahead and go through here. And so these guys, since they raided us once before, they figured, since they went up and around, let me go ahead and just throw up some wood here real quick. Hopefully this is making sense. I want to show people like what it looks like a realistic base on vanilla, and what a raid can feel like, and you know, not to panic, like to use what you have. Definitely don't freak out. I don't know where I put the wood, dude. Oh man, hoping we can do this. Is there wood here? Oh, thank goodness. Okay, so I'm just gonna put assume that the twig is stuff that was there before but then got blown up. Okay, so we also had the room they broke into. Since they broke in the first time, over here on the top, and they kind of knew what this was all about in here. They figured they would just blow straight into a wall, which is very expensive because, again, the path of least resistance is always the doors in most cases. It depends on the honeycomb. They saw the size of the base and guessed right that our door system was way more expensive, and they had to guess where to go in. You saw, I just air quoted, not that anybody saw me. Oh boy. All right, hang on. Let me throw in some wood so we don't get some decay here. Our upkeep system. Okay, let me just break off a little bit here. Should be more than enough. Okay, boop. Let's go back in. Now, what was funny about this raid was, okay, so another reason why I like dissecting raids is you can really see how much money the raiders had as far as what they were willing to offer up. Now, this room, we actually hadn't filled this gap yet from the first raid. And we did have a door here, sitting across like this. Let me go ahead and... No, we'll leave it. And so, since they tried the other side before, got in about this far into the base, and then was like, oh, what do we do? They decided on the second raid, the one we're talking about, that they would come in brute force style. Now, they did get a little bit, but they really didn't get a lot. So this actually, this is the wall they broke into, because this is a half wall. And this room had a garage door at the frame, this metal frame here, so they actually blew that up. But they blew in here. This whole room was storage for resource processing. Things like stone, metal, turning into metal fragments, sulfur turning into actual sulfur, or I should say sulfur ore turning into sulfur. And a bunch of boxes in here. We put them up on this little triangle piece. And so we crammed a lot of boxes in here. We had a few low-tier weapons, but nothing major. So they blew in here, knocking down this. So all of the boxes and stuff that were supported by this fell down. So they got all those things. But again, if you've watched my raid video, you'll know that every wall has a soft side. Obviously, we're looking at the soft side here. So they knew that the other side of the room wasn't worth picking through, or else this would have been tempting for them to pick through. So they decided to pick up this time. So as you can see, the floor here is stone, and this is the soft side. So they picked upwards. Or actually, I should say, they broke into this room, got all the boxes. They see this garage door here that currently isn't there. I suppose I could throw it up now. Let me go ahead and throw it up. I threw it somewhere. I think it's in the back. We call it the Christmas tree door. I try to do different skins on the door so we can kind of talk about what is, where somebody's at in the base. That's if the skin system comes out when this game first releases for Xbox and PlayStation, but I'm okay with the skin system not being in right away. I want the game to play because this game is so much fun. So it was like this. By the way, garage doors are 9 satchel charges, and on the hard side of a stone wall, it's 10 satchel charges. So you can see garage doors are much more robust. And I should say any sheet metal door is 4 satchel charges. Even double sheet metal doors are 4 satchel charges. So using garage doors, and again, garage doors only come in one size, this large size. They're very effective. So they broke in, right? They spent 10 satchels on the outside wall. They got a little bit of loot inside here that all collapsed down into these little loose bags. But then they decided to blow into here. So that's what, 10 and 9. So 19 satchel charges, which ain't cheap. We go ahead and close all these so you can get a better idea of just how much they were, just how much resistance they had. And remember, they don't know the layout of the base. They only know what they knew from last time they raided. So when they blew in here, this is it. There was nothing in here. This is a workbench used for crafting things. When you're close, you can see in the right-hand corner it says Workbench Level 2. We use this for crafting, and our furnace room was moved to this little pocket here. So all of our active furnaces were not exposed. This door was still intact. that was it. So we could tell by them spending, what, 19, almost 20 satchel charges, they were already running out of steam. And that's a lot to craft. So they picked upward, is what they did. And when they did, they got to this. And that was just done with melee. Can I make this jump? Probably not, because I'm bad. Oh, there we go. Yay! So they picked upward, destroying the floor, and we did have some storage here, and it collapsed down on them. Again, not worth it. It was very, very basic stuff. And I think we had a sheet metal door here, and they broke this, and this door was intact and down, and that was it. We basically just added this here. We had, actually, they didn't take anything out of here. We didn't have anything stored in here. So this was it. That's as far as they got. So when I spawned in, I didn't see it right away. This is what I saw when I spawned in. Let me show you. It's pretty funny. So these doors that are open over there on the side, those represent the doors that were blown open. I hope this makes sense. I really do. It's always that moment, and again, you can relate to this in Ark or Conan, where you sign in and you're trying to see if the base is intact. I was in here, the tool cupboard room, and so I came outside, and this door was there. So I was like, okay, we're good. This door was here, and then when I opened this door and then this door, and I looked over here, I could see the outside. So I was like, uh-oh, right? I'm like, what happened? And then I saw that they really didn't get much. And just adding up loosely what they had spent and how much they got from these spots, it was definitely not a profit for them. It was not worth it. They knew, like, hey, this is the second time we've raided and we've gone bust. They spent 40 satchel charges the first time. So yeah, just by an educated guess, you can tell that the people that came through here were definitely people that had raided us previously, because they were jumping around other places, most likely. So isn't that, oh, dude, it's so great. So here's another tactic we like to use. Trying to mesh this all together. Our components were here. We didn't have a lot sitting there, but these are more valuable components. Components can be more valuable. So again, just having this by a sheet metal door, not a sheet metal door, this is a garage door. That's another 9 satchels. We had a shotgun trap there waiting for somebody if they decided to blow it. So that's how you get to this. Even if they broke through the top here, just kind of showing you how this worked out. Even if they broke into this, which is another 9, there is nothing really here. Well, these technically weren't there before. So like you'd have to break through another 9 on either side to get to the components under there. And before we signed out, because this is definitely not our first rodeo, we took all the valuable components from here and put them on the inner core. Now, they don't know that we have weak sheet metal doors here. They just know that we had a bunch of garage doors everywhere. So we put very valuable things like tech trash, bean can grenades, which are a component of satchel charges. We put them all inside here. We put our valuable GP, like look at that, boom, 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 boom. That's all stuff made for satchel charges. So we were ready for somebody to attack. They had to spend a lot of money to get in. So after that secondary attack, and again, making everything metal, and just kind of knowing where the soft points are at, my next move is to do something like this. Actually, let me back up. Hopefully this, again, lines up with what I'm saying here. So next time, if somebody breaks in on either side, this is the TC wall. This whole inner core here that I'm looking at on the corner is the TC room itself. So what I want to do is you very rarely want to show that you've got a lot of money on the outside. And obviously, we have metal exposed on the outside of the building. My next move here is to armor this one, which is the next tier up from metal, which is very expensive. I'm going to metal this, or I'm sorry, I'm going to armor this, and then we're going to armor the top so they can't blow down, because remember, that's metal too. I'll probably armor this triangle and this triangle here, forcing them to blow through these garage doors as they move in. And I might armor this, and I might armor this. And then that should lead them through the doorways, which would be maximum spendage, because I don't have anything. Again, we talked earlier that garage doors only fit in the large door frame. This is a regular door frame, and we can't fit a garage there. And since building's permanent, I could get rid of this wall, but I'd have to pick at it or blow it up, and it gets very messy. So, and we don't have the armored door blueprint for a single door, so we kind of have to make do. But if you look, this is 18 satchel charges right there, even if they got into that center core, and then 4 apiece. 18, 4, 4, so what is this? 20, oh boy, 26? Wait, 18, 4, 22, 4, yeah, 26. 26 more satchel charges if they got in. So what I'm going to do, since we're nearing the end of the wipe, I believe, because the update's on Thursday, I'm going to armor this. I'm going to armor the, whoops, I'm going to armor the top. It's very expensive. Now you see our upkeep on our TC. Now you can see we have the high quality cost now, so it's about a day and 18 hours. And I'm going to armor this, and I'm going to armor this. And then we'll go take a look around the outside and see what that looks like. So if by some off chance the same clowns came through, decided to raid us, they would run into like big opposition. So you can see the armored piece here. You can see the armor on the outside here. So basically, if you see an armored wall, blowing that up with satchel charges, just, it's no dice. I think what we'll do on this side is I have the choice of either armoring this or this. I think I'll start with this. Maybe we just do both. Oof, it's already really expensive. Look at that. 13 on the upkeep. Yikes. And then when we get some more high quality, we'll finish this off because it's getting pretty pricey. So look at our upkeep is now 17. Ooh, that's expensive. So we're pretty well protected. Our only soft spot is truly this lower portion. But it's still metal, and that's beefy. So if these guys decide to blow in the same fashion and just go right for the gut instead of making all these poor choices, they're really going to have to pay once they come in. But they don't know it until they spent the money and committed to the raid. So that's the idea. That's kind of the premise behind recovering from a raid, figuring out where the faults are at, upgrading whatever you can, and kind of getting in the mindset of a raider as they move through your base. I hope that's helpful, and I hope you guys are watching this when the beta's out, and hopefully this helps you guys during the beta. And hopefully, I mean, if it's long term, you guys are watching this during the release, I hope it helps during then too. Or even just PC players that are just getting started. So this is truly for everybody. Alright, so if you found it useful, be sure to drop a like on the video. And be sure to check out my Rust playlist on my channel. I have a lot of other Rust videos to help you out if you're just getting started. And also, I do daily DayZ content as well. Daily DayZ videos on my DayZ highlights playlist. We'll give you guys a nice little peek of the outside of this place. I'm trying to skinny up so I don't get totally worked because we've had a number of door campers on here. I love it. This base has been raided twice and we've been able to hold up each time. And they've really got nothing. They spent way more than they should have. Yeah, and we'll do another base tour of this base when it's actually active because we've got turret traps to help us collect loot from other would-be door campers. So yeah, this is an active base on Vanilla Rust and raid recovery. Alright, hopefully we'll see you guys in the next video. Love you! I really want to take that scrap helicopter over there. I really do. Alright, let's get back inside before we get clipped. I'm scared.